yes, Megalodon. Outside of T-Rex, probably the most famous prehistoric animal of them all, and with good reason. Perhaps the biggest predatory shark of all time, shrouded in mystery. I mean, did they really go extinct? And loved by movie makers all around the world. That said, the movies are all terrible, including The Meg. Remember, we don't get our science or facts from movies. So, what are the facts about Megalodon? What do we actually know about this amazing shark? The earliest Megalodon fossils from Otodos Megalodon, previously known as Carcharodon Megalodon, date to about 20 million years ago. For the next 13 million years, they dominated the oceans until around about 3.6 million years ago. Now, Megalodon was not only the biggest shark in the world, but one of the largest fish to ever exist. The current science suggests it grew to about 15 meters in length. Now, there have been some suggestions, including even by me, I know we don't get things right all the time, that they may have grown up to about 20 meters, maybe more. The recent evidence suggests, though, that that's not the case. But hey, even at 15 meters, that's one big shark. So how do we know? How do we know how long an animal is like this? Do we have the whole skeleton? Well, no, we don't have the whole skeleton. Generally, we have the teeth, and the teeth are around about 18 centimeters long, the big teeth. Hello! Because the skeletons, of course, are made from cartilage, and cartilage is the same stuff that makes your nose and your ears, and that doesn't fossilize particularly well. What did Megalodon eat? Well, Megalodon would have eaten other animals, of course. We can tell that by the teeth. Most likely whales and large fish, and probably other sharks. I mean, if you're big, you need to eat a lot of food, so large prey is required in most cases. This would have included animals as small as dolphins, as well as possibly large as humpback whales. Now, interestingly, fossilized whale bones have been found with cut marks of Megalodon teeth etched on the surface. And that's one of those things that helps tell us what they ate. As well as Megalodon poop. To be able to tackle prey as large as whales, so Megalodon had to be able to open its mouth quite wide. And yep, that's a big, wide mouth, easily big enough to have two people swallowed side by side. And to be able to swallow a killer whale whole. That's a big shark. Big jaws. The jaws were lined with 276 teeth. That's a lot of teeth. And studies reconstructing the shark's bite force suggest that it may have been one of the most powerful predators ever to existed with that bite force. Yes, even more powerful than T-Rex. Most reconstructions show that Megalodon looked like a giant great white shark. But of course, we now think that is incorrect. We now think it had a much shorter nose, or rostrum as we call it, when compared with the great white, and a flatter, almost squashed jaw. Like the blue shark, it also had extra long pectoral fins to support its weight and size. In fact, Megalodon is actually from a different lineage of shark to the great white, of which Megalodon was the last member of that lineage. Now, the oldest definitive ancestor of Megalodon is a 55-million-year-old shark known as Otodos obliquus, which grew to around 10 meters in length. Megalodon likely had long pectoral fins, as I say, like modern blue sharks do today. So where did they live? Megalodon teeth have been found on or near every continent on Earth except for Antarctica. It was adapted to warm, tropical and subtropical locations around the globe. Now, Megalodon gave birth to its young in shallow water environments. Several suspected nursery areas have been identified based on high concentrations of small Megalodon teeth, many only a few centimeters in length. Little baby Megalodons, how cute is that? Now, sharks continuously produce teeth, as we know, throughout their entire lives. Depending on what they eat, sharks lose a lot of teeth every 1 to 2 weeks, getting through maybe as many as 40,000 teeth in their lifetime. This means that shark teeth are continuously raining down onto the ocean floor, increasing the chance that they will be fossilized. This is why we find many Megalodon teeth. Now, it had several rows of teeth, which acted like a conveyor belt, as I was saying. So the lost teeth could be replaced, within 24 to 48 hours or so. So while more robust teeth become fossilized easily, okay, teeth being hard as opposed to ears and noses, only in very special circumstances will soft tissue be preserved. But there is and has been a fossilized megalodon found in Peru that it said has the brain case and all the teeth, as well as a small string of vertebrae. Now, we will study and continue to study this fossil over the coming years to see what additional things it might tell us about megalodons. So we don't exactly know when the last megalodon died, but it's around about 3.6 million years ago. Now, at around about that time, lots of animals were going extinct. We go through these extinction phases throughout Earth's history. Of course, we always know and we can always work out what's the cause of it, just as we know what's causing animal extinctions at the moment. Yeah, big clue. A lot of it is us. But anyway, back to megalodons. If the water cools, with the adults being dependent on tropical waters, the drop in ocean temperature is going to result in a significant loss of habitat. It also may result in the megalodon's prey either going extinct or the prey moving to cooler waters where megalodon was unable to follow. It's also thought, as I mentioned earlier, to have given birth to its young in close to the shore. These shallow coastal waters would have provided a nursery for the pups. I know, pups! How cool is that? Protecting them from predators. As ice formed at the poles, a lot of these areas became cooler and cooler. And animals like, interestingly, great white sharks may well have fed on the pups of Megalodon. So bigger isn't always better. It was also dealing with dwindling populations of a small whale that it ate. And the populations were becoming more and more fragmented. Now, fragmentation of populations, that is, a small population of something over there, another population over there, another population over there. And we've talked about it before, island biogeography. You don't necessarily have 100,000 koalas. You might have lots of small populations of 100 koalas here in Australia. And populations need to be able to intermingle for that to be a sustainable full-on population. So yes, fragmentation of population would have been significant for megalodons as the oceans cooled. Am I sure megalodons are extinct? Yes, I am. If they were still around, they'd leave telltale bite marks on other large marine animals. Their huge teeth would continue to litter the ocean floors, and there is none younger. There are no teeth younger. None of these that we find are younger than that 3.6-ish million years ago. We find them from 20 million years ago all the way through 3.6 million years ago. It stops. There aren't any. It'd be cool if there was, because they are such a cool animals. And of course, as a warm water species, Megalodon would not be able to survive in the cold waters of the deep. So yeah, sorry, none left. So there you have it. An awesome shark, but an extinct shark. Not quite as huge as we once thought, but 15 meters is still a huge shark, and you'd fit quite easily in its belly. And another example, of course, of how extraordinary the natural world can be. Cheerio.